90.5 WKHS, I'm Tiana, and that was Summer of 69 by Bryan Adams. And like I said, today we had some special guests come in. They're from the Mill of Kingstown, so I'm going to introduce them right now. So first we have Agronomist David Boniface, Livestock Specialist Karen Holloway, and Marketing Director Renée Wilson. And we also have some other special guests coming in from our school. We have Agricultural CTE student Mitch Denham, and of course we have our very own DJ Aaron. So would you guys like to go ahead and introduce yourself? We can start with Mr. Boniface.
Thank you. So I was a golf course superintendent for 18 years, and the mill called me up one day and asked me to come work for them to get some turf experience at the mill. So 18 years later, here I am, and I'm a certified crop advisor. I spend a lot of my time doing turf, but I'm also working with the farmers and the agriculture community.
Awesome. Ms. Holloway?
Yes, I've been with the mill for about 24 years as livestock specialist. My background is animal science, both undergraduate and master's degrees. And in my job, I work with livestock, dairy, poultry, most any form of livestock, hoping to match customers and their animals with what they need to accomplish their goals. So.
Great. And now Miss Wilson.
Yes, we've obviously talked before,
Yeah.
and we've really been able to kind of discuss a little bit about what I do, but potentially it's marketing and being able to explain and tell others in the community about what our experts are doing and what the company is about and all of the community support that we offer.
Yeah, that's all great. So once again, they're from the Mill of Kingstown. It's previously just been, you just not bought it, but like we partnered. Yeah, that's the word I was looking for. I couldn't get it out. And now for our special guest from our very own school, Mitch Denham.
Thank you. I am a senior here at Kent County High School. I am involved in Ag, 4-H, and FFA. I also work on my family's farm where you have livestock with hogs and a grain farm.
Yeah, so we have a really full house, a lot of agricultural people in here. And last but not least, we have Aaron. Sorry, Aaron, you don't have a fancy title. So we're going to go ahead and, start our interview. So I'm going to ask you guys just really all the same kind of questions. So what made you want to do this? What made you want to get in the agricultural field? What was the drive? What was the backstory? Anything that you really feel like our listeners should learn. So we'll start again with you, Mr. Boniface.
Well, agriculture is the number one industry in the United States. There's so many good people in this industry. I've made lots of good friends. It's a joy to pull into a farm or even a golf course and talk to the people, and you make friends, and it's all about relationships. My job is to sell them product, but you become friendly with the person. It makes my job easier.
Yeah, that's awesome. Ms. Holloway?
Yeah, I grew up on a 400-acre livestock and crop farm up in Harford County. As a youngster, I was in 4-H, and animal was kind of my side of things that I preferred more so than the crops. So following high school, I went to college and got undergraduate degree in animal science and then master's degree in nutrition and reproduction. So when I came out of college, I actually was an extension agent for about 6 or 7 years and then went to work for the mill, like I said, 24 years ago. I guess really my passion is agriculture, but even along with that, working with youth, 4-H and FFA youth, coming through the 4-H program myself, I know how much I got out of it, the friendships and relationships like David mentioned. So the 4-H youth side of things is something particularly this time of year that I do a lot with. But yeah, the whole growing up on the farm and just wanting to remain involved in agriculture.
Yeah, that's actually how a lot of students come through our ag CT. That a lot of them do grow up on farms and they just keep on going with that pathway. And they tend to stay local just because Kent County is like a pretty rich area to have a farm and, have livestock and grow grain. That's what you said, right? Yes. Sorry. I'm not as educated as some of the other people in this room. And next, Ms. Wilson.
Absolutely. So one of the beauties of growing up in the agriculture industry, I had a little bit of experience with turf and the crop side. My dad is a dairy farmer, and so I get a little bit of what Dave's talking about. And then with Karen, I did grow up in 4-H and FFA as well. I became an employee at the mill at the retail counter and then went away for college, studied telecommunications news, and came back in. And now I'm getting to enhance those different the advice that these guys are giving, just talking about those things. And for me, it's a family, and we all understand that the ag community is going to hold together and true, and we're going to work to help them, and they're going to help work with us.
Yeah, that's awesome. It really seems like the ag field is really family oriented. I feel like you guys have all said the same thing when it came to that. Mitch, do you have anything you want to add in?
Yeah, just like you said, I've grown up on my farm, my family farm I grew up there and I continue to work there, and eventually I want to go to college and come back and continue on with the family farm. So like you said, it is very family oriented.
Yeah, that's great. So you guys are expertise in your own different ways. So how about you go ahead and share with us what your expertise in and how the mill, I guess, helps you push out those expertise to like all your customers and such. Mr. Boniface?
Yeah, whether it's agriculture or turf, I do a lot of agriculture and turf together, and the base is the soil sample. And that's going to tell us everything. We can go to the doctors, but until they take a blood test from us, then we know exactly what's going on with our body. So that's the way a soil sample is. So we know exactly what's going on in the root zone. And I take a lot of joy out of helping each grower and diagnosing that soil test and figuring out what they need so we can put the proper products down to grow the crop.
Is soil testing a long process, or is it more of like a 24-hour type thing?
It's a couple-day turnaround.
Okay.
And it gives you all the information. The soil pH is very important. If your soil pH isn't correct, then the crop and the products you put on aren't going to work properly. So it's very important.
That's a very important service, especially around here. I know we have a bunch of issues around here with runoff from other farmland and drainage from what is it? It's the dam up north. There's leakage down here. Yeah. So that's a big concern with a lot of people who want to grow things around here. Just what their soil is like, if they can grow, what they can do to fix it. So it's an awesome service to have.
Correct. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
So most of the farmers have a nutrient management plan. There's a lot of us at the mill that are certified to write nutrient management plans. So that's another big part of my job, so that they can stay in compliance with the state of Maryland.
Yeah, awesome. So every day, do you have to go out to different farms and basically test their soil? It's usually
done a certain time of the year, in the fall, typically when we're not as busy. Right now, we're very busy. We're trying to do a whole year's worth of work in the next 2 months.
Oh, no.
Because putting the crops in. But soil tests are done in the fall typically so that we can make a plan for that grower or that producer for spring. So we have all winter to make that plan.
So say that they fail their soil test. Is that also part of your job to help them figure out a way to get it back on track, or maybe their levels are too low?
Oh, absolutely. That's what it's all about. So even if their levels are high, then we found a way to save that grower some money. So the soil test tells us exactly what's in that soil and what the crop needs or does not need for the season.
Yeah, that's great. Very important because that's where all our food comes from. So, Ms. Holloway, would you like to elaborate a little bit more on your expertise?
Okay, well, on the livestock side of things, nowadays we pretty much have kind of a broad spectrum of customers, everything from the commercial producers, whether it's livestock or crops on David's side of thing, to more of the hobbyists. And then, as I mentioned, too, the 4-H and FFA side of things, I work very closely with families and youth that are raising animals for the various fairs. So what we try to do is to match up the products with the customers and what they need, what their animals need. Whether it be, again, I'll go back to the 4-H and FFA side of things. We want to get the correct products in the hands of those families so that if their goal is to just make weight so they can sell their animals at their county or at state fair, then we try to help them reach that goal. If they're aiming for the purple ribbon, we'll work with them to do anything additional they need to try and reach those goals. So, whether it's the commercial side of things, the 4-H side of things, we're just trying to match the customers with the products that they need. So part of the service that I provide, much like David, but on the livestock side, would be to, go out to a family's farm and we have a set of scales that I can take out, and we can weigh animals to see if they're kind of on target for their fare. We'll just take a look at the animals and, make any adjustments in terms of feeding. So again, that can happen whether it's the commercial level, the 4-H level, but that is one of the services that we provide to really go out and be hands-on with the customers to match them with what they're going to need.
Yeah, that's great. When you talked about like the blue ribbon or purple ribbon, I'm assuming that's what you win at the fair. I'm guessing that's like
right.
first place or not. So
right.
I actually have a couple of friends, and I did not know what 4-H was for at least most of my life until I was probably around like in the 7th grade, because I went over to my friend's house and I was like, why do you have so many sheep? Like, is this just a hobby? Like, what do you do with all of them? She's like, no, I put them in the fair. And I was like, the fair? I was like, what is the fair? And like all year long she groomed them, and she had someone like you that would come and check on her sheep every year to make sure that she would, place high enough, and she would put all that money into college funds. And that's what basically most of my friends did from the time they were little to now. Right. So I thought that was pretty cool. Like I really didn't know people like you guys existed. I just didn't. Right. I don't know how I think things work, but it never crossed my mind. So I think that's really interesting. And Miss Wilson, do you want to talk about your side of things?
Well, I'd like to elaborate a little bit on both Karen and Dave. Just like our other experts, they're taking the time to provide a service. And that service might be a class. So Dave taught a lawn care class to homeowners earlier this year. So being able to share his knowledge of the crop side of things and what a soil sample is, that's the beauty of being able to teach others. And Karen does the same thing on the livestock side. She's taking the time to not only provide a nutritional plan or setting up some dates and weighing these animals, she's teaching those kids and those adults that are having these animals and giving them the opportunity to learn about what they have in front of them and really maximize all of their potential. So that's what I love, seeing both of these guys go out in the field and do those things. And they know people on a first name basis, and just being able to have their knowledge and education experience and sharing it. That's pretty cool. So that's what I like to see in my side.
Yeah, that's really neat. Mitch, do you want to talk about a little bit more about your family background? Because I know you guys have been farming for a while, and since they're just a little bit different from here, you can just go ahead and elaborate on that.
Okay, so my family moved to Kent County from Howard County in the late 80s. We are currently farm about 3,500 acres, and we have a 600 sow operation at the one farm, and we are weaned a finish grower at the other farm. So
cool. So I'm assuming that all of your life you've been a farmer and you've just kind of taken on the family business.
I've always been around it. So
yeah, so you're pretty well-rounded when it comes to these things, unlike me on the other hand. I'm still a little blindsided by that. So yeah, I think that's really nice. Is there anything else you guys want to add before we have to wrap this up?
No, I think we've really kind of tackled it today and just kind of explaining some of the things that these guys do. The biggest thing is just reaching out, and if you have questions, please ask us. We're happy to help or find somebody in our company that can. And the website is www.themillofbelair.com, and that covers all 7 of our locations, including the Mill of Kingstown.
Awesome. So once again, they did talk about the services that they give, and although we cannot mention pricing, it's at a very good rate. So I highly recommend that everyone goes and checks out their website and just check out the mill, because they seem like really cool people. And if you're into farming and animals and things like that, they have a lot of skills that they can definitely help you with whatever problem that you run into. So once again, today with me, I had agronomist David Boniface. I had livestock specialist Karen Holloway, a marketing director Renée Wilson, agricultural CTE student Mitch Denham, and our very own DJ Aaron. So I want to thank you guys for listening in.